You may say an interim producer. Can we throw interim on there?
I like that.
Interim. All right, interim. Just like Chris Tabor's interim head coach of the Carolina Panthers, which means he is interim responsible for Bryce Young. There's this thing I like to do on Fridays, heading into Panther games, which is set the expectation for Bryce Young, right? I like to know, hey, if this happens, I'm going to be happy. Hey, if this happens, I'm going to be upset. That way you can't move the goalposts once the game starts, right? You can't say, if he throws 2 touchdowns, I'll be pleased. Then he throws 2 touchdowns, and you're like, well, I really want him to get 3. It's like, no, just set the goalpost. Say it on air. This is less tangible. This is what I want from Bryce Young. With the interim head coach, with the new hierarchy in the offensive meeting room, with everything going on, this is what I want from Bryce Young. I want him to take ownership of everything moving forward for Carolina this season. Who is going to be back next year for the Panthers? Bryce Young. Who is not? Just about everybody else. Probably not the offensive coordinator, Thomas Brown. Probably not the interim head coach, Chris Tabor. Probably not the GM, Chris Fitterer. Probably not most of the guys on the offensive line, at least not in their current positions. Some of them, maybe Icky moves to guard. Maybe Moton's still out there, but you get what I'm saying. Probably not many wide receivers that aren't named Adam Thielen or Jonathan Mingo. There's just a lot of not going to be here. So why would Bryce let anyone else keep taking charge? Why? They aren't a part of Carolina's long-term plans. So why would you worry about what they're thinking or feeling or wanting? You're the one that's going to be back next year. You're the non-lame duck, right? You're the one still invested. Take control. You know what? I was saying this about Chris Tabor, the interim head coach. Tabor's the interim head coach earlier this week, saying I want him to empower Bryce Young. I want him to say, we're giving Bryce Young all of the responsibility. If he wants to change a play at the line of scrimmage, we're giving him that right. I think I may have been looking at the wrong person. Do it anyway, Bryce. Oh, is Chris Tabor's going to be mad at you? Who cares? You got to deal with Chris Tabor's for like 2 more months. Then someone else is going to come in, and you're still going to be there. So do what you think is best. Is Chris, it's, what do we call a quarterback? The CEO of the franchise, the face of the franchise. Now, I don't know about you, but the CEOs I've interacted with over the years have pretty much made the decisions for everybody else in the business, right? So unless you're getting direct mandates from David Tepper himself, Bryce Young, you are the next most important person in this franchise. So it's time to simply say, you know, it's what everybody gave credit to Frank Reich for, right? When it was obvious the ship was on its way down, he took play calling back. He said, if we're going to go down with me making the decisions. Bryce Young, grab the wheel.
If anyone asks, I hit the iceberg.
If anyone asks, I'm the one that had the wheel when we hit the iceberg. Right, and I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. I'm not expecting Bryce Young to be some kind of like offensive coordinator, head coach, quarterback hybrid. I'm just saying you can learn a lot more the more responsibility you put on your plate, the more mistakes you make, the more life you live. Because then guess what can happen? The next coach is going to come in and say, all right, what were you guys doing last year? Here's what I was trying to do. Here's what I liked. Here's what I didn't like. Here's why I kept going to this play. Here's why I was checking to this. Bryce Young is not a novice. He's new to the NFL. He's not a novice. The guy started at quarterback for 2 years under Nick Saban. He played at some of the most demanding high schools in the country. He was the quarterback guru coaches from a very young age. He knows a little bit about football, and a little bit is the sarcasm there. He knows a lot about football. He's kind of in a sweet spot for a quarterback, and I know that. How in the world is he in a sweet spot for a quarterback? They're one win, 1 billion losses. His coach just got fired. How? he gets to do the thing that every quarterback kind of wants to do, which is whatever he wants. Right? There's nobody, like, it's substitute teacher time. Right? It's time to have a little fun. It's time to take a couple chances. That's what I want. I want to see him. Hey, I'm reading cover 0. Let's check to a deep ball.
Air it out.
Or let's check to a screen, or let's check to something fun. Watch what I do with it. I need the scene. I don't know what it is about Graham. Every time he produces the show, I want to go full movie reference. We need the scene in Remember the Titans where Sunshine looks at his offensive lineman and tells him to let the big guy through. Well, you don't want me to block him? Let him through. Then he throws it and he ducks and he does the whole little tabletop thing, flips the guy over. It's a whole part of the movie. Go see it. I need Bryce Young to just say, listen to me. I don't care what coach is saying. This is what I want you to do. This is the protection I want you to run. This is the routes I want you to run. Draw it up in the dirt if you have to. Go old school. Mr. Official, can I see the football so he can draw with his finger the route he wants? We used to do this at Alabama and then show everybody.
Go no huddle a couple of times.
Go full, like, movie reference. Go full Jonathan Moxon, right? No huddles, 5 wide receivers, coaches. We don't need you in the second half.
Stop overthinking it.
Or it's not stop overthinking it. It's just trust your own thinking. Take control. Grab it, by the metaphorical horns, if you will. It's your show. You're a professional quarterback. You were the number 1 overall pick. The coach just got fired. Your quarterback's coach just got fired. Your running back's coach just got fired. Most of the other assistants will be fired by the beginning of next year.
It literally cannot get any worse. At some point, it just has to go up, right? Or is that just a superstition in me?
Or at least, check off some things, right? That didn't work. Won't do that again. Cross it off. Won't do that again. Cross it off. There's nobody there that means more to the franchise than you. Start acting like it. Let's hear from Mel Kiper on how he thinks the Panthers should build around Bryce moving forward.
I just go to the offensive line, Joe. This is a kid he is the smallest quarterback you'll ever see playing in the NFL at this level. I mean, we've had quarterbacks in that 5'10" and change range. Russell Wilson started that going, right? Doug Flutie back in the day. But to have a franchise quarterback be viewed as that at 5'10", 185 to 200, however it fluctuates during the course of the year, you better have. He can't survive these kind of hits on a week-to-week basis, and he has so far. Give him credit for that. But the offensive line's the pivotal part, and obviously weapons at wide receiver, but it all starts up front.
It starts up front. They need wide receivers. They need coaches. They need offensive line. Everything he's saying they need means it's going to be different next year. There will be different people in those spots. You're going to be the one that is still there, so you need to start acting like it. That's what I'm getting at. Be Bryce Young, number 1 overall pick. Not Bryce, who is coached by anybody.